friends in the media, and to all our honored, distinguished guests, thank you so much for being with us today at this nationwide TeachAIDS India launch event. We are absolutely thrilled that this moment has come and are so happy to be able to share it together. Thank you also to our dear friends at Annapurna Studios and Annapurna International School for Film and Media for all their generosity and support and for donating this beautiful room to us. Let me take you back to where this all started. It was in 2009 when I was conducting research at Stanford that we were analyzing reports stating that India was to be the next hot zone for people living with HIV. And that despite hundreds of millions of dollars poured into different efforts, that the knowledge levels were still very low. The research showed that even though many young people were desperate for this education, the comprehensive HIV education was not easily provided in schools. In India, sex education had been banned across multiple states, and HIV is a sensitive and difficult subject to teach not just in India, but in many places around the world. Many of the teachers we spoke to felt shy to teach about the subject, or they felt that they didn't know enough and that maybe it wasn't their place to teach about something like HIV. Many of the young people felt shy to ask their teachers and ask their parents or other guardians for this kind of information. But this consequence, a big consequence, was that the children were growing up without a basic understanding of how to protect themselves and their loved ones. The report showed that women were learning they were HIV positive only when they went for a pregnancy test. Most of the funds spent for HIV prevention went into public health campaigns, billboards, television commercials, radio jingles, posters. But coming from a learning sciences background, we know that that's not the best way to learn fully about any subject, let alone for the first time. Think about math education, for instance. We don't learn that 2 + 2 is 4 on one billboard and 3 × 3 is 9 on another billboard. We learn math systematically through our classes, through thousands of hours of learning from your teachers. And with something like HIV, we also need to learn about it systematically. HIV is a virus, and we learn about viruses in our classroom all the time through biology. We knew that we needed to find a way to teach about the virus in a systematic way, and it needed to be in schools. Over the next few years, our team went through more than 500 iterations of developing different materials and testing them over and over to be able to create something that would work with the support of the world's top experts, and they all donated their expertise towards the solution. The research revealed several key lessons. One of them was that we needed the graphics to be very simple and very direct. They needed to be clear and they needed to be comfortable. The materials also needed to be self-driven. They needed to work without a teacher. Even though many people wanted to share this information about HIV, sometimes they didn't want to take the responsibility for themselves, but many times they just didn't know that information well enough to teach it to their children. And we also didn't want incorrect information to get delivered. So by using technology, we could make sure that it was accurate information that was developed and delivered the same way every single time. We needed to also make separate male and female versions, which we didn't know initially. So when it comes to these kinds of subjects, females, it turns out, like to learn from females, and males like to learn from males. So for every language version that we've developed, there's a separate male version and there's a separate female version to enhance the learning. And most importantly was that these messages that were research-based and put into modules needed to be delivered by people who were deeply admired and respected within each culture. Only with the people that they trusted would the young people listen in a way that we wanted them to. And lastly, the materials needed to be free. That was also something we didn't know. When we first did the testing, we had created some very good materials that cost a little bit of money, and some other materials that we were testing to see that were a bit inferior, that were free, just to see what human be able to do the work for the children. Thank you for this opportunity, and thank you.